question 5. Let me see this. Okay. What does question 5 say? So they are saying the diagram below shows the graph of f of x is equals to minus x squared minus 2x plus 8. So we have a quadratic function there. We have a parabola here. And then they say R and S are the x-intercepts. So here's my R, here's my S. I have my x-intercept, and then a V is the y-intercept. So here's my V. So already, I have the formula. They say V is my y-intercept. What is my coordinate of V? Quickly.
Okay, 0 and 8.
0 and 8. We know why it's 0 and 8. Sure. And then T is the turning point. What is determine the length of RS, right? So R and S, we were told that they are my x-intercepts. So now they want the length of RS. How will I go about that? I just need to find now my coordinates, right? I need the coordinates of R and I need the coordinates of S. And then I'm just going to subtract them or plug them in my distance formula. So let's look 5.1. They are my x-intercepts, so I'm just gonna make y 0. Then I will have minus x squared minus 2x plus 8 giving me 0. So what does that give me? It's gonna be what's this? Let's see. We'll just multiply by -1, then you have x squared plus 2x plus 8 is equals to 0. Okay, minus 8 because it's a negative, no? Minus 8. So it's x squared plus 2x minus 8. So I'm looking for factors of 8. When I subtract them, they give me 2. That's 4 times 2. Then I'm going to have a plus and a minus. My bigger number will go with a plus. So that's 4. Then here that's 2. And then x will be -4 or x will be 2. So the one that's on my negative side, I can see it's my r, right? So for r, I have -4 and 0. And then on my positive side, that will be s, which is 2 and 0. Sure. So now that I've gotten the coordinates, I'm answering the question. So how can I answer the question? So I can say rs now. So I can say rs is equals to what's this? My bigger value, which will be now s, the coordinates of s minus r, right? So that's 2 minus -4, which will be 2 plus 4, and it gives me 6 units. So, but then I just want you to take note that I can only do this method of subtracting when I am on a straight line, right? Or aka a perpendicular line, right? So I can use it if I am looking. So now I'm looking at my x-axis. Yeah, on my x-axis is a straight horizontal line. And then I can even when the values are on my y axis, I can do that, right? Or another way, you can just plug these things in your what's this distance formula. So that's the first one. And then now they say 5.2, determine the coordinates of t. So already as we have looked for it, right? So as I said, now you're in an exam. You already know that t is -1 and 9. But then you must also show that how did you get the -1/2a and just, whatever, minus, what's this, -2/2 2 and -1. Therefore, it's going to be -1. Then my f of -1 will be 9. So you're done. Nice try, marks. Already you have collected 7. Then a 5.3, they say the gradient. Okay, this one you need to be whenever you see tangent and whatever, getting a bit serious. Né? So it just needs you to pay attention. So let's see, what are they saying? 5.3, they say the gradient of the tangent to the graph of f. So gradient to the of the tangent to the graph at a point w is equal to 2. So as you can see, I don't have any point of w here. Né? So that point is not there. So we must visualize it in our brains. So, and also what's a tangent? A tangent is a line that touches a graph at only one point, right? And then since it's 2, let's say it's here now. But then what is 2? That's my gradient. Né? My gradient at point W is 2. So M is equals to 2, that's my gradient. And then what are they saying? 5.3.1, determine the coordinates of W. So 5.3.1. Yeah. So one thing about this, né, what you should know is that since it's a gradient at a point, né, and at this point, my tangent is intersecting with my what? Is intersecting with my graph of f, right? So basically, this gradient of 2 also applies to my graph of f. So it's a gradient of 2 at both places, at my tangent and also at my, what's this? My graph of f, my parabola. Né? And another thing, my gradient now, which is m, is my first derivative, right? So that's why when we are looking for a turning point, we say your first derivative is equal to 0. So basically, we are meaning at my turning point, my gradient is 0. I have a gradient of 0. Né? So yeah, my gradient is my turning point. If you didn't know that, please don't forget that. Your gradient is your turning point. So sharp. Your what? Your gradient is your first derivative. Your gradient is your first derivative. Your gradient is not your turning point. Your gradient is your first derivative. But if you're looking for your turning point, you can take your first derivative and equate it to 0. Né? So here's my f. F is now given as negative x squared minus 2x plus 8. So now f prime x will be what? Let me just derive it quickly. It will be minus 2x minus 2, right? So as I said, it's my gradient there. But then I know that at the point, my gradient is 2. So I'm just going to equate it to 2. So minus 2x minus 2 is equals to 2. So it's just a matter of me finding x. So x now will be what? Minus 2x is equals to 2 plus 2, which is 4. I divide both sides by -2, I get x is equals to -2. All right, yeah. And then to get now my y coordinate, I will just substitute back there in my formula, or in my value for f, because it's an intersection. So this point of w will be on my tangent and my, what's this? My parabola, right? So that will be minus -2 squared minus 2 times -2 plus 8. So that's a 4 minus 4 plus 4 plus 8. So that's 8. And then now my point for W is negative 2 and 8. Can you all double check? But it kind of, I think it was straightforward. But that's basically how you're going to go about it. Né? As I said, remember that now your gradient is equals to the first derivative. Then you just do your first derivative and you were given the gradient, right, at the point W, which was 2. Then you equate the first derivative to 2. You solve for the x value, which was negative 2 in this case. Then you substitute that x value back into your graph of f. Then you get 8. So that's basically how you're going to go about that. And then 5.3.2 now, they say, what's this? Determine the equation of a straight line G. So they are giving us a new graph of G, which is perpendicular to the tangent, all right? And passing through V. So that's a quick 2 marks. So for the F basically, or for my tangent, gradient of my tangent multiplied by the gradient of my perpendicular line must be negative 1. So 2 times the gradient of my perpendicular line must be negative 1. Then the gradient of my perpendicular line will be negative 1 divided by 2. So it's going to be negative half. Right? So already I know that I have y is equals to minus half x plus c. How am I gonna find c? They told me that it's passing through v, and v is my y-intercept, which with the coordinates 0 and 8. So I'm gonna substitute v 0 and 8. 8 is equals to minus half of 0 plus c. So it's also the y-intercept for this one. So already I can see that my c is 8 as well. So it's going to be now, therefore y is equals to minus half x plus 8. Graph of f is shifted. Okay, now we have a shift. So also with this one, I need your full attention. So it's shifted 1 unit to the right and then reflected in the x-axis to produce a new function h. So now they say determine the equation of h in the form h of x is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. So they want h in the standard form again. So let's see. It's 5.4. So basically, my new graph of h of x is obtained by doing what? By reflecting what's this f about the x-axis, right? So here's my x-axis. If I reflect about my x-axis, so I'm reflecting about this line. Yeah? And then what else? Shifting it 1 unit to the right. So it will basically be for me to have a reflection about the x-axis. So if I have x is 2y, that's a point, right? So to reflect about the x-axis now, my x-coordinate is going to stay the same. And then my y value will change sign. So basically all of my y values will become negative, right? So that's going to be represented by negative f of x. Okay? But then also I'm shifting now my graph of f 1 unit to the right. So when I shift 1 unit to the right, what am I doing? it will be minus 1. So basically, that's what I have to do. Nah? It will be is equals to. So now I'm just gonna write down my f, right? So what the let me see. My f is minus x squared minus 2x plus 8. Okay. So minus x squared. But then this is the negative, this is the first negative, right? So my graph will be minus x squared minus 2x plus 8. But then also remember, I have a minus 1. In my brackets, I have an x minus 1. So what does that mean? Wherever I see x, I put what? I put x minus 1. So I'll have minus x minus 1 all squared minus 2x minus 1 plus 8. So basically, that's how I'm just going to find my equation of h of x. Then I can keep this negative, then it will be x squared minus 2x minus 1. Now it will be minus 2x plus 2 plus 8. And then it will be minus x squared. So I'm just distributing the negative plus 2x plus 1 minus 2x plus 10. Then, yeah, just distribute the negative again. Then I have x squared minus 2x minus 1 plus 2x minus 10. Then it's x squared. I have minus 2x. Now, what's this plus 2x? So they cancel. And then minus 1 minus 10. That's minus 11. No, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's not that complicated, guys. Not that complicated. So when I shift my graph 1 unit to the right, so that means all of my coordinates, they are going to change. Ne? They're going to change. So 1 unit to the right, I'm going there. Right? And then reflecting about my x-axis. So let's see. Let's say I have now a graph here. Ne? And then I have a point now. Let's say it's minus 2 and 4. Then I say I'm reflecting about the x-axis. So when I reflect, so reflection is like a mirror image, right? So reflection is my mirror image. So what will be now that point here?
Minus 2 and minus 4.
Negative 2 and negative 4, exactly. So what happened? My x value stayed the same, but then my y value changed the sign. So that's why I was just showing you guys that. And then when I change my y value sign, it's just going to be a negative f of x, right? So yeah, that's just basically that. That's your thing. That's your